This video covers a topic called dimensional analysis, which is basically the use of units in mathematics and the converting of units. We have two vocab words. One is unit rate. The word unit in mathematics often is used to mean one. And in this case, in a unit rate, the 1 is in the denominator. So for example, my video is lagging. 1 in the denominator. For example, 17 miles in 1 gallon. That would be 17 miles per gallon. So per gallon means per 1 gallon, so it's a unit rate. 2.6 cents per ounce would be the same as 2.6 cents for each 1 ounce, so that's a unit rate. 5 hot dogs in 1 minute. Let me clean that up. 5 hot dogs. 5 hot dogs eaten in 1 minute. That's a unit rate because of that 1 in the denominator. We use unit rates to create what are called conversion factors. Conversion factors in order to complete a process called dimensional analysis. A conversion factor is similar to a unit rate. A conversion factor might be 1 yard per 3 feet. Notice we have the 1 in there, but it happens to be in the numerator. We could have 5,280 feet per mile. That is a conversion factor. So conversion factors are pretty much the same as unit rates, but the 1 does not have to be in the denominator. First example. An adult male human has about 12 pints of blood. 12 pints of blood in their body. How many gallons is this? How many gallons is this? You probably have a picture in your mind, at least if you're American, of what a gallon is, the size of a gallon jug of milk. So how many of those full of blood are in an adult male human's body? So we're starting with a quantity of 12 pints. Well, we have conversion factors for measuring liquids and solids. And one of those conversion factors tells us that there are 2 pints in a quart. Well, if we want pints to go away, we need to put the 2 pints in the denominator and the 1 quart in the numerator. So when we do this, when we multiply 12 pints by 1 quart over 2 pints, we are multiplying essentially fractions. And when you have pints in the numerator and pints in the denominator, those 2 units cancel out of the problem. So now we have quarts on top and no units on the bottom. Well, we have another conversion factor which tells us that there are 4 quarts in a gallon. So gallon, there's our goal, gallon. We know that there are 4 quarts in a gallon, but we want quarts to cancel out, so we have to put them, the 4 quarts, in the denominator and the 1 gallon in the numerator. Notice, quarts in the numerator, quarts in the denominator cancel each other out. And all we have left now is what we want, which is gallons. So now we're just going to do the math that we see. To multiply fractions, you multiply, people say straight across, because you go straight across the numerators and straight across the denominators. So in the numerator, we have 12 times 1 gallon. In the denominator, we have 1 times 2 times 4, and no units. That's equal to 12 gallons over 8, and that divides out to be 1.5 gallons. So a human adult male body contains 1.5 gallons of blood. All right, next example. Which is faster? So we're interested in faster. 25 miles per hour. So you can imagine going 25 miles per hour. It's a little bit faster than like a school zone. Or 30 feet per second. Okay, so visualize 30 feet is 10 yards. So that's the distance from like the 30-yard line to the 40-yard line on a football field. So 30 feet in 1 second. So we're wondering which is faster. To compare them, we have to have them both written in the same units. So I'm going to start with the 25 miles per hour, and I'm going to change that to feet per second. Well, miles per hour means we have miles in the numerator and hour in the denominator. That's miles per hour. I need hours to cancel out. So I need to put hours in the numerator. Now, change hours to another unit of time that's closer to seconds. If you don't happen to know how many seconds are in an hour, then let's use minutes. How many minutes are in an hour? There are 60 minutes in 1 hour. Notice this is a conversion factor, because 1 hour is equal to 60 minutes, and it accomplishes our purpose because we have hours in a denominator, hours in a numerator. They're going to cancel. All right, now I'm a little bit closer. I still have to get rid of, I have to get all the way to seconds. So I need minutes to cancel out. Since minutes is in the denominator, I'm going to put it in the numerator. And do you know how many seconds are in 1 minute? Well, that would be 60. There are 60 seconds in 1 minute. Always double check. Minutes in the denominator, minutes in the numerator, they've canceled out. All right. I want seconds as part of my answer. It's in the denominator where it's supposed to be, so I no longer have to worry about time. Now I have to worry about miles. I need to change miles to feet. Now you probably don't know how many feet are in a mile, so I'll tell you. There are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. 5,280 feet in a mile. Notice, because I had miles in the numerator over here by the 25, I need to put miles in the denominator over here so that those units will cross out. And now all that's left is the math. The numerator is 25 times 1 times 1 times 5,280. Those are all the numbers in the numerators. The denominator, this is 1 hour at the beginning, so it's 1 times 60 times 60 times 1 again. And this is equal to, I have this written down, 132,000, that would be feet. And the denominator is 3,600, and that would be seconds. Notice, let me go back. unit on top is feet, unit on the bottom is seconds. And when I do the division, 132,000 divided by 3,600 is 36.6 repeating feet per second. That's greater than 30 feet per second. So this measurement right here came from the 25 miles per hour. So 25 miles per hour is faster than 30 feet per second, but not a whole lot faster, just almost 7 feet per second faster. All right, next example. Uh-oh, sorry. Next example. Come back, what? All right, there we go. Lydia read 260 pages. Lydia. She's obviously reading a book here. 260 pages in 2 hours. Jesus read 3 pages per minute. So who's reading faster? 260 pages in 2 hours or 3 pages per minute? I'm going to take Lydia's 260 pages in 2 hours, and I'm going to change this to pages per minute. Now, I like pages. See this unit right here, pages? I'm okay with that. I don't need to do anything with that. But I do have to change my time, my hours into minutes. Well, if hours starts out in the denominator, then I need to put hours in the numerator and change that to minutes. Well, how many minutes are in 1 hour? There are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So I'm going to make hours in the numerator singular. So 1 hour is the same as 60 minutes. Notice hours in the denominator cancels with hours in the numerator. We're left with 260 times 1 in the numerator. We're left with 2 times 60 in the denominator. That's 260 divided by 120. And when you divide that out, that's 2.16, and the 6 repeats, pages per minute. This is Lydia's rate at which she reads, and Jesus reads 3 pages per minute. So Jesus reads faster. Okay, because he reads 3, she reads 2.16 in the same time period, 1 minute. All right, next example. A vehicle uses 1 tablespoon of gas to drive 125 yards. 1 tablespoon, 1 tablespoon of gas to go 125 yards. What is the fuel efficiency of the vehicle in miles per gallon? So we need fuel efficiency in miles per gallon. All right. So we're going to start with 125 yards and 1 tablespoon of gas. We're going to change tablespoons to gallons. Now, you can use the internet. There'll be a formula sheet when you take the big test. There are 256 tablespoons in 1 gallon. Notice tablespoons on the bottom, tablespoon on the top. Those cancel each other out. Now we need to change yards to miles. Now, I don't know how many yards are in a mile. I could look it up. But I do happen to know how many feet are in a yard. So I'm going to go, I need yards to cancel out. So 1 yard, and that's 3 feet. Notice, since I have yards in the numerator, I put yards in the denominator. There's 3 feet in a yard. Now I'm going to, okay, continuing, let's see, yards are canceling, there are 3 feet in 1 yard, and now I know that there are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. Remember, I want my answer in miles per gallon. Now let's make sure everything cancels out that's supposed to. Feet cancels with feet, yards with yards, tablespoons with tablespoons, and this leaves me with miles in the numerator and gallons in the denominator, which is what I want. So when I multiply, across the top, I have 125 times 256 times 3 times 1. When I multiply across the bottom, I have 1 times 1 times 1 times 5,280. And I have those numbers here. The numerator multiplies out to be 96,000. The denominator, of course, 1 times 1 times 1 times 5,280 is 5,280. Notice my units in the numerator is miles, and my unit in the denominator is gallons. When I divide, I get 18.18 repeating miles per gallon, mpg. So any car that might be a large car or an SUV or a truck, 18 miles per gallon, that's 1 tablespoon of gas for every 125 yards that you drive. Okay, this video was on dimensional analysis. Thank you for watching.